We're back on. Not yet. All right, folks. Let's see, do we got Clyde back? Commissioner Behill, are you back? All right. So we're all here. Thank you. We'll go ahead and resume. We're at the point now that that we can entertain motions from the commission on this case. Is there anyone that wants to? There's a few conditions that staff has listed, and it sounds like we have some additions and maybe a few changes to those. And it looks like Commissioner Wright might be working hard on that. If he wants to take a stab at a motion here.
Mr. Chair, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Here's a couple of suggestions for you, if I can, just to kind of reiterate a couple things that were stated. So under condition number 2, there was talk about marking the ATM lane as an ATM only lane. I'm not sure if you got that down. All right. On condition 6, that could be coupled with the discussion we had about integrating some, having the applicant work with city planning and their engineer to provide some engineering solutions and measures that will allow for the pond to drain.
Ooh,
I
not
suppose,
so comfortable with drainage on Miramontes.
no, and I'm not suggesting that, but, and Richard didn't either. He wasn't in favor of that either. But looking at other solutions and not pinning it down on any one thing as far as overflow into Miramontes or anything like that, but providing other solutions. Yeah. Our engineer?
Yeah, the city's engineer is not in favor of the drainage onto Camino Miramontes. So my suggestion was that we could work with the city engineer and the applicant's engineer to get everything worked out. And I can pretty much guarantee that's probably not going to include any overflow to Miramontes.
So that could be a standalone condition, Commissioner Wright, or it could be tied to condition 6.
So providing solutions to do what exactly?
To allow for the pond to drain.
For pond to drain or be drained to support irrigation, to support landscaping? Just a thought.
I don't know if you have to go that far, but that's always an opportunity.
I can leave it open.
Okay.
Would that also be the proper place to add the some sort of leaching barrier to the properties to the east?
I was gonna suggest you might be able to include that in condition 7 for maintaining the landscaping and the CMU perimeter wall, including the installation of waterproofing near the ponding area. And then Commissioner Wright, you also had the one for the, to install, infrastructure to accommodate relocation of the mailboxes. While you're doing that, Commissioner Wright, I'll ask any of the other commissioners if it sounds like we captured everything, or did we leave anything out, or is there anything you wanted to speak to? Commissioner Vihil?
I'm good. I'm gonna wait for Earl.
Commissioner Casados?
I'm good. What was discussed with the adding to the conditions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Martinez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only other item I had written down was signage meeting the city ordinances. But
Oh,
I
yes.
believe Commissioner Wright has that. Thank you.
Thank you. I did miss that one.
Oh,
I'll give you some more time, Commissioner Wright. I'm gonna ask Director Huber about the final decision, if that's something that we would take action on at the next meeting for this case. Okay. So I saw that and I meant to ask you and I forgot. So the final decision on this case isn't on the agenda, so that would be approved at our next meeting, depending on the motion here tonight, so.
I think I'm ready, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioner Wright, the floor is yours.
So, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I would move for conditional approval of case number 2021-01, which is a site plan for development of a credit union branch with drive-through lanes on property currently addressed at 1720 North Riverside Drive. It will include 11 conditions of approval. The first condition, the applicant shall coordinate with the City of Espanola Public Works Department related to utility connections and to install to city specifications rather than specs, to include meters, backflow devices, hot boxes, and similar for building and landscape use. Condition number 2, the applicant shall install a fire hydrant as noted on the site utility plan, parentheses C102, dated the 3rd of February, 2021, and provide and stripe a fire lane at least 20 feet wide with a 13-foot 6-inch overhead clearance around the building as indicated by the Espanola Fire Chief, with the addition of to stripe and mark the southern drive-through lane as ATM only. Condition number 3, the applicant shall meet ADA requirements for parking access and sidewalks to be verified by the planning and land use staff during construction. Condition number 4, the applicant shall provide a stop sign at the exit onto Camino Miramontes. Condition number 5, the applicant shall complete repairs and maintain drainage pipe and manholes along NM 68, parentheses, AKA North Riverside Drive, close parentheses, related to stormwater drainage easement to NMDOT. Condition number 6, the applicant shall be responsible for maintaining on-site stormwater drainage and retention and detention system, including ponding area as noted on the grading and drainage plan, parentheses, sheet C101, dated February 3rd, 2021. An additional condition 7 as an insert. The applicant shall explore providing other solutions to allow for the detention pond to drain. Renumbered condition number 8. Applicant shall be responsible for maintaining landscaping and CMU block walls as noted on the landscape plan. And this one's a little tricky. This is sheet LS1 as presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission February 11th, 2021. And a note on that, the sheet that we have is post-dated. So that's why I make that change, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
It's dated as December and stamped as May 2020. So I want to make sure it's the plan as presented to the commission this evening. And a further addition to that condition number 8, which is language including installation of waterproofing the western edge of the retention and detention pond.
Do you mean the wall, Commissioner?
The wall foundation and a waterproof barrier.
Okay.
Not for the entire pond, because obviously, even though it's clay, any sort of percolation is okay, but to prevent, the intent is to prevent leaching to the properties to the west.
Okay, I would suggest.
If that's not clear, I'll reword it.
Okay, I would say that to include waterproofing of the CMU perimeter wall adjacent to the drainage ponds.
I think it should also include the foundation of the wall.
Yeah, it's all together, so I would say that that's all part of it.
Do we need to reword that, Director Hubler?
What I got from that was applicant shall be responsible for maintaining landscaping and CMU block walls as noted on the landscape plan, LS 101 presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 11th, 21, including waterproofing of the CMU perimeter wall adjacent to the retention detention ponds.
You want to say to include its foundation, including its foundation?
To include its foundation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Renumbered condition 9. All exterior lighting shall comply with the New Mexico Night Skies Protection Act. Additional condition number 10. All signage shall meet city sign code requirements without variance or special exception. And monument sign will not block sight lines at intersection of Calle Miramontes and North Riverside Drive. Condition 11. You ready, Director?
Could you read me the last portion of number 10? The and monument sign shall not block sight lines.
And monument sign will not block sight lines at intersection of Calle Miramontes and North Riverside Drive.
Thank you.
No problem. Condition number 11. Applicants shall be responsible for infrastructure and costs for relocation of United States Postal Service cluster boxes if relocation allowed by the United States Postal Service.
Could you hit that middle section again? Applicant shall be responsible for
Infrastructure and costs for relocation of USPS cluster boxes. If relocation allowed by USPS.
Thank you. And as a point of clarification, I think I mentioned this earlier, is that that would likely be just a concrete pad. Everything else would be handled by the post office. And we'll get the specs from them if they're okay.
Understood, but I use the chair's term.
Yep.
Was it my turn?
You said infrastructure. You're an engineer. It's infrastructure.
Oh, that term. Yes, I did. I'll admit it.
That concludes my motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Wright. I'm not going to repeat all that, but I'll ask the commission if we have a second.
Second,
That motion.
All right. Commissioner
Chair.
Martinez, I think you beat Commissioner Casados on that one. So we got a second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion by the commission? Commissioner Wright.
I would just like to ask the applicant if they were comfortable with those 11 conditions.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Whitehour.
Commissioner Casados, any discussion?
Mr. Chair, no, none at this time.
Commissioner Martinez?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would just like to commend everyone involved in this activity because we all kind of work together to come to a consensus that helps everyone, including the applicant, the neighbors, the commission, everyone. So I just wanted to commend everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Vihil?
No discussion.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
The
Chair.
only thing I'd like to add too is, yes, I want to thank everybody involved, the neighbors, the applicant, and staff and the commission for all coming together and trying to provide some workable solutions. And again, thanks to the applicant for returning and addressing a lot of these and mitigating a lot of the concerns that were raised the last time. I know there will always be more. I'm hoping that, you know, they were just suggestions on my side is about, you know, if the monument sign isn't absolutely necessary and the entire wall on the southern side isn't absolutely necessary, you might be able to have some significant cost savings there to maybe provide some hedging on that northern side to address some of the neighbors' concerns that they still had. But I knew it was a big task to move the driveway. I'm in this line of work, so I know what it takes to redesign something that's already been designed and laid out. So thank you, Mr. Slagle, Ms. Salazar, and Mr. Whitauer for looking at this again closely and making those accommodations. I know it wasn't easy, but I think it worked to a very good solution in the end. So I just ask that you continue to work with staff on the drainage. We do have issues similar to this that we're learning from on other developments. So that's why we stayed steadfast on reviewing that and asking questions about it, because we're seeing it as an issue. And we hope that your design team, your engineer, the city's engineer, and Director Huber can work together to come up with a good solution to address the issue, given the geological site conditions that exist on the lot. So we appreciate that. So that's all I have. Director, you want to take the roll?
Yes, sir. So Commissioner Allwright,
In favor of the motion.
Commissioner Don Casados,
In favor?
Commissioner Nisa Martinez,
In favor.
Vice Chair Clyde Vihil,
In favor?
and Chair Eric Martinez.
In favor.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right.
Thank you, Dave, Joe, and Deb. You guys are welcome to jump off now. I will be in touch tomorrow or Monday.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts.
All right, Commission, let's move on to, let's see, items for consideration.
Mr.
Oh.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like we don't have the necessary individuals to be able to consider the final decision for case 2020-11. That one we would need Commissioner Casados, Commissioner Nisa Martinez, Vice Chair Clyde Vihil, and Commissioner Dinah Quintana, since you recused yourself from that one. So we're one shy of being able to take action on that one. But we do have the necessary folks to do the November meeting minutes and the January meeting minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Director. Commissioner Wright?
Mr. Chair, I realize we can't act on that, but I would recommend, there's a couple of typos in that one. If it does get heard, and again, I wasn't at the meeting, but just so it's corrected, when we do have a chance, findings of fact number 3, the variance was actually September 10th. And of course, it wasn't adopted in November of last year
Yeah.
on the last page.
This one I've just been recycling. So yeah, well, thank you.
I did notice an error on our agenda. We have item number, item number 6. I didn't notice that before. Till now, I was a little confused and I was like, oh, we missed that.
Oh, we're trying to standardize the agendas as part of the integration of Civic Clerk, a new module with the city.
Yeah.
So it'll be listed if we don't have items.
Okay,
Yeah, there just won't be any items under there.
thanks for that.
You don't want another public hearing, Mr. Chair?
No, sir. I'm good for now. All right, so do we want to go ahead and entertain a motion to table that one to the next meeting? Is that what we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody want to make that motion? To table final decision for case 2020-11?
Come on, everybody at once.
Okay, I will move that we table final decision for case 2020-11 to the next commission meeting on, okay,
March 11th.
March 11th.
Why don't you call a special meeting?
Will we-
And I would have made the motion, but I wasn't there, so.
I was there, I recused, but I figure it's appropriate to table. So I would say if you want a second, that would be fine.
Second?
All right, we got a second from Commissioner Martinez.
All right, Commissioner Earl Wright,
Abstain.
Commissioner Don Casados,
In favor.
Commissioner Anissa Martinez,
In favor?
Vice Chair Clyde V. Hill,
In favor?
and Chair Eric Martinez.
In favor.
Motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention.
All right, next item is approval of the November 12th meeting minutes. I didn't have any changes myself. Is there any changes from the commission? Or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
I do have an issue with them. And if it's a friendly amendment, I'll do that, but
I guess after, we need a second to go ahead and amend, correct? Is that to approve? Oh, okay.
or the motion fails.
Yeah. Okay, there's no second to the motion, so I'll entertain another motion.
Mr. Chairman, I realize we have abbreviated minutes, but I think it's important, and unfortunately, it's replicated in the next set of minutes. However, this is on page 3 of 5, adoption of final decisions, with Roman numeral 6, where it says typographical errors were noted and Commissioner Wright requested corrections to the findings. I would actually prefer that the minutes reflect what the actual amendment to the finding was, because these are findings of fact that the commission approves.
So the changes are actually noted on the findings as adopted. So the findings captured the changes, but you're suggesting that we captured the discussion around the changes in the minutes?
Not the discussion, the actual amendment. It's an amendment to a legal document
Right.
that the commission approves.
Which was amended, yeah. So the decision itself had captured that change. And I guess so that's my question as clarification. You also want that change noted in the minutes in addition to it being captured in the finding.
I think it's important because it's a matter of legal record that it's the commission's findings and the commission requested that a specific change to the minutes, substantial. I don't believe we need to call out the typographic errors. I think that's fine. However, I think, and it's not that critical on this one, but I think moving forward, it certainly applies to the next set of, to the minutes that we're going to look at for the next meeting. And it also applies to this set. So that's my concern, commissioners, and actually what we did. My suggestion for amendment to the minutes was Commissioner Wright requested striking the phrase, "The existing zoning does not best serve the needs of the city."
So is that your amended, your request to amend the minutes, Commissioner?
And if so, could you read that sentence?
Yes.
one more time?
Yeah. Can you repeat that again, please?
Okay, the sentence should read, typographical errors were noted and Commissioner Wright requested striking of the phrase, quote, "The existing zoning does not best serve the needs of the city," end quote, in finding number 5.
Got it.
Okay. So would you like to?
And so with that amendment, Mr. Chair, I would move for approval of the minutes from November 12th,
Very good. Do we have a second?
2020.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Casalos. It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Commissioner Earl Wright,
In favor of the motion.
Commissioner Don Casados,
In favor.
Commissioner Nisa Martinez,
In favor.
Commissioner Clyde V. Hill,
Abstain.
and Chair Eric Martinez.
In favor.
All right, motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention.
Thank you. We have the approval of the meeting minutes for the January 14th meeting. I just have one minor thing and then I'll turn it over to Commissioner Wright since he said that he had similar change requests. Is just the spelling of Dwayne Herrera. I think it's spelled 2 different ways in different parts of the minutes. D-U-A-N-E and
Okay.
W-A-N-E.
Yeah, it should be D-U-A-N-E. Okay.
Commissioner Wright?
Muted. We gotta find them. They were actually several areas, Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners. and I think some of these may require going back to the audio recording, but I'll run through some of them. But I suggest, in the interest of the time, it may be best to table. But I'll proceed with I'll proceed with some of them. This is on page 3 of 8. Middle of the page where Commissioner Wright commented on the plat and questioned the absence of a sign plan. One of the first things I did was question the spelling of Calle Miramontes on a previously approved city plat, and that the spelling was incorrect. And I would point the commissioners, the reason why I want this on the record is if we look at the set of plans we got, that error has been propagated throughout this application. And it's something that I believe is important to put on the record, that these plats are permanent record, and it's essential that they be reviewed. And this comes from my long years being responsible for 911 addressing in Santa Fe County. It's absolutely imperative that errors like this be captured and we actually see the result in the case before us. That was one of them. In that same comments, I specifically asked at the last meeting if the North Central Regional Transportation District was notified of the application. There was reason for that statement on the record, given the history that we've had with basically appeals of commission decisions and actions being taken to the city council because they weren't included at this level. And I wanted it on the record that they were actually notified of this because I didn't want to come back to us. It's come back on the city on several occasions. It happened with the Starbucks Freddy's. It happened basically with all the applications at Denny's Del Taco Car Wash. And I think it's imperative to put it on the record that that entity was actually notified of the actions of this commission. Director Hubler, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, your responsibility.
Go ahead, Director.
Oh, I was just going to ask, do you have a suggested language change?
Well, and again, there's others here. I mean, I can provide these, but I think, like I say, I'm recommending we probably table these minutes because there's a slew of these. Further down on the page, I'm sorry?
You want to make that motion to table?
Well, yeah, and I'd like to give some direction too, but to get through these. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Next paragraph on the page, it states Commissioner Wright questioned utility approval on the site plan proposal. What I actually questioned was the lack of utility approvals on site plans. Moving on to page 4, again, this is my comments, third paragraph, and it was relating to the applicants or to the mailboxes, but essentially the applicant's response and amenability to that was left out of the minutes. I do not want to try and I'm not going to put words into their mouth for what they said. So I think we need to review the audio on that. And then moving on to page 8, and hate to beat a dead horse, but I did state an objection to be listing absent on those minutes. That was not captured. For September 5th was the day my brother died, and I was not excused for that. And then again, and this relates to the changes we just made. But on page 7, the final decision for case 2020-02, I think the changes must be reflected in those findings. Same for 2020-12. And also a correction at the end from matters of the commission. The Commissioner Wright discussed his desire for more study sessions and perhaps special meeting for delayed administrative items. I think we need to go back to the audio for some of these. So I would make a motion to table these to our next meeting. And if that is March 11th, 2021, that's my motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright. We have a motion to table with the comments provided to staff by Commissioner Wright. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Vihil. Is there any more discussion by any of the commissioners? Okay, seeing or hearing none, roll call.
No discussion on a motion to table, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you're correct. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Earl Wright,
In favor of the motion.
Commissioner Don Casados,
Dean,
Commissioner Nathan Martinez,
In favor.
Commissioner or Vice Chair Clyde Vihil,
In favor?
and Chair Eric Martinez.
In favor.
Motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention.
All right. Let's see, we're at 9:30 currently. So we're really beyond our 8 o'clock time limit here. So what I'd like to suggest is that we go ahead and maybe call for a special meeting, a work session, to have more time and attention to solely discuss the 2021 priorities as part of agenda item 8. Director Hubler, can you comment on that, please?
Yeah, that'd be my recommendation as well. I'd prefer enough time and preferably the presence of Planner Gillette as well. So we could schedule a session for 2 weeks from now. That had been kind of our scheduled plan last year pre-COVID was to do second and fourth or second and last kind of Thursdays. And I'm available for that date. And I believe Ms. Gillette would be too on the 25th. But I'm open to potentially other dates as well. Thursdays in general are better because there's not other meetings happening.
Okay. Let me, I'm just looking at my schedule. I'm available that evening, the 25th. Okay. I'm good. Commissioner Vihil, is that a good date for you?
He's still muted. You have to actually unmute this time, Clyde.
You're muted.
There you go.
Still muted.
Stop it, Clyde.
Okay, the 25th is good for me. What time?
Still do 6
o'clock,
o'clock.
Okay,
5:30 if you want to do it a little earlier.
5:30 sounds good.
I want to check with staff
Yeah,
first to make
that's
sure
fine.
that's good with them.
Yeah.
Staff's good with 5:30. Clyde is good with 5:30. Commissioner Martinez?
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioner Casados?
yeah, in favor.
All right. Commissioner Wright?
That'll work for me, Mr. Chair. However, if we're going to do that, we have a couple of table administrative items. I would ask that those be put as action items on that agenda, and hopefully we can knock them out in like 10 minutes.
I'm good with that suggestion. Staff?
Okay, we can give that a go. We'll just need to make it, instead of a work session, then it would be a special meeting for us to be able to take action on it. And I'd have to advertise the agenda.
Is that
I'd rather, if possible, I'd rather push those off to a regular meeting.
yeah, staff prefers to put them to a regular meeting because of notice requirements and advertising for a special meeting because we'll be taking action.
We could do it, but if anybody wanted to participate, they might be challenged.
Yeah,
Not that anybody sticks around for this part of our meetings anyways, but
If there's a quorum of the commission according to the Open Meetings Act, it has to be advertised anyway.
yeah, but
Has to be published.
yeah.
There's really no difference.
Okay, we can do a special meeting.
okay. Thank you, Commissioner Wright.
Just helps us clean our plate.
So let's, can we have a motion to, I guess,
Table to a special meeting
Yeah.
on February 25th at 5:30.
table item 8 to special meeting, for a special meeting on February the 25th, 5:30. We have a motion? Counselor Wright?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Oh, thank you. Second? Is there a
Second.
Say that again?
That was a Mr. Vihil.
That again?
Did you second it?
Yes, I
Commissioner?
second.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we got a motion to table and a second, roll call.
Commissioner Earl Wright,
In favor.
Commissioner Don Casados,
In favor?
Commissioner Nisa Martinez,
In favor.
Vice Chair Clyde Vihil,
In favor?
Chair Eric Martinez.
In favor.
All right, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Director. Next item is matters from the commission. Commissioner Vihil, do you have any items to share with the commission and staff today?
No.
Commissioner
Thank you,
Martinez?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Martinez?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wright?
No, Mr. Chair, I would just move to table this to the special meeting as well.
The matters from the commission?
Yeah, to have that during our, we're gonna have a discussion anyway, so.
Yeah, because we already got some matters of no matters. No matter.
Long day.
Commissioner Casados, do you have anything for the commission?
Mr. Chair, none at this time.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we're at adjournment. If there's.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Move to adjourn, second.
Second. I second. I'll second. I'll
All
second.
right. Thank you for your triple seconds.
Ah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.